Welcome to Sandlot The Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball. I'm your host, Will Kiger, a.k.a. Wrecking Yard Will. Next to me, I got owner-operator of Wrecking Yard, former Division I player, professional player, and diehard Dodger fan, Mason Morioka. Next to him, we got Mr. Nick Green, led Penn High School to its first ever CIF champion, his first year there. He's also one of our great coaches here who gives lessons. Next to him, we got young superstar on the rise as a coach and as a player, Mr. Nate Torres. He plays at El Camino. He also heads our 9U. He's been under Mason since he was a wee little lad. We're lucky to have him
got
over
Scottish
here.
there.
I did, dude. My ancestry came out right there.
Oh my gosh.
So right now we're going to get into free agency a little bit. But before we do that, Mason wanted to touch a little bit on the Gold Glove situation. I think he had a little beef in the AL center field Gold Glove.
I absolutely think Cedric Mullins got robbed by Kevin Kiermaier. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Kiermaier is an outstanding center fielder, but you and I just watched the top 100. I think it was 100 to like 31.
Yeah.
And Cedric Mullins is on there 4 or 5 times, robbing home runs, making diving plays, like
ridiculous catches. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I could agree. I honestly think those guys, Cedric got screwed because they're both in the same league.
Oh, 100%.
If they were one AL, NL, that's locked up easy. But yeah, Cedric Mullins, phenomenal talent, definitely deserves a Gold Glove. I don't know if he has any yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he should win one, probably will win one. So we'll keep that short on that. So free agency, we touched on Shohei already in a former segment. Go check that out if you haven't watched it. The number 2 free agent is the Japanese superstar, 25-year-old Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Also one of the coolest names I've ever heard. That's freaking awesome stuff. So it looks like the top contenders for him as of right now are the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Braves, Dodgers, Phillies, Giants, Rangers, Cardinals. So he's got
Every team.
everybody, all the top teams want him. But from what I've seen, it looks like the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers, I think, are kind of the top 3. So where do you guys see him landing? He's going to get a bag for sure.
I think if, he's talked about a little bit on, he wants to play with another Japanese star, and I know that the Cards are kind of in that race as well for him because of, Lars Nootbaar that also played on the WBC Team Japan. Yeah.
Hometown kid from over here.
Yep.
Shout out to you, Lars. He also just got a GQ Man of the Year. He's killing it right now.
Nice. And I think,
Glazing.
if the Dodgers...
If you say glazing again, I'm going to buy your ass a box of Krispy Kreme and shove it down your throat.
Hey, if it's free, I'll take it.
These freaking 19-year-olds with their damn glazing.
I'll take that.
I'm 33 and I'll
Did you
take
read
that.
that shit on fucking Twitter or what? This glaze. That's the only word you
Instead of
know?
Wrecking Yard Will should be glazing ass Will.
Shots fired. I forgot what we were talking about.
So we're still talking about the pitcher. I think if Shohei ends up going to the Dodgers, I think that entices this Japanese pitcher to come on over to the Dodgers.
Please, God, don't let that happen. Please, Lord, baby Jesus, don't do it to us. Nick, what do you got?
These are the Dodger fans, man. It's let's just get every free agent and everybody that we think is going to be A++, and let's just blank check. Here you go, and we're gonna have them on their team. I can't stand it.
The Dodger fantasies.
Yeah, the Dodger fantasy. It's like you guys don't live in reality, and it even shows when you guys go after Dave Roberts. Guys only led you to how many 90+ win seasons since he's been there. But as far as with this pitcher, I think that historically, when we've seen big time players come out of Japan, they've gone to really bigger markets. Shohei was really where we thought he was going to go bigger market, and he went smaller market, but still in a kind of affluent area, big city in Los Angeles. So it'll be interesting to see what type of approach this pitcher does, where he goes. Does he kind of follow that Shohei route where he goes to a little bit more of a smaller market, or does he go to one of those bigger teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, Boston? I mean, we've seen kind of like a pipeline to those destinations for Japanese players. I think that what I'm interested in is seeing everyone's looking at his potential. what does that equate to in the amount of time that he spends in the MLB? Because there's been Dice K who, came out and he was the guy, and it was like, he had I feel like 4 or 5 good years. And after that, it was just kind of fall off. And
Kodai Senga. Yeah. He was a dog as well coming out of there.
So that's the thing I wonder is, he's 25, which is young.
Yeah.
He's, but I feel like that there is possibly that drop off that happens, early. And it's like, man, I wish that maybe we can get these guys and they're like maybe 21, like a Walker Buehler, who's a little bit more on that younger side. Maybe you got 8 years out of him possibly, than getting somebody who's 25, 26.
Do you think that with this pitcher, being 25, do you give him a shorter deal? Kind of like what Shohei Ohtani has done, and if he absolutely takes off,
I think you give him maybe a 5-year deal. So when he's
I would
30,
say maybe even
3
shorter
to 5,
than
3 to 5.
Because all these Japanese guys, Will. Wow, I'm sorry, I did not call you Will. Nick said it. Where these guys,
my country cousin
dominate
right
the 3 years that they're there.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's like
big contract.
The big contract comes, or
where do you think he lands?
Or
Nate?
they go down and they just become an average pitcher.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese pitchers, they all have a little funk to them.
I think this.
And I think once the hitters can pick up the funk after the few years and see how this guy throws, because I'm sure some major league guys don't even know anything about this guy. They don't know.
Yeah.
And so when he comes, I think whatever team he goes to, he will be effective.
I think a West Coast.
Where do you think he lands, Nate?
I don't know.
Okay, Green. Where do you think he lands?
I think somewhere on the West Coast. I think I think that kind of like Mason kind of hit on, based on diversity, based off of there's definitely more
Shorter travel,
Asian presence. You've seen it be successful for Ohtani with how everyone came over and wanted to watch him and see. I think if you're that kid's agent or if you're around him, I think you're taking that Shohei kind of manual approach and going, hey, let's stay on the West Coast. And, I think it'll be better suited.
As long as we don't go to the Angels anywhere but there. I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto has the coolest name in baseball, but also is going to end up on the Mets or the Yankees. I think it's going to be the Mets, honestly. I think the Mets are going to be willing to give him a bigger bag than anyone else. He's going to end up there. If not, Dodgers is what I'm thinking.
And then the Mets are going to suck, just like they always do.
Yes, they will, but he'll be a rich man. So let's move on. Mr. Cody Bellinger, former Dodger, came out of L.A. I think he was taking less bong rips this year, and he really just started tearing it up.
Or he was taking more.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that Chicago
look at it that way too.
Kush is on another level. I don't know what's going on over there, but anyway, 307 average, 26 jacks, great center fielder. Me personally, I think just stay in Chicago. Don't fix what ain't broken. And he had a great year. It's a great organization. They're looking to make major moves. The other suitors, it seems, are the Yankees, Giants, Blue Jays, Astros, and the Mariners.
So I'm thinking Cody ends up with the Yanks.
With the Yanks.
With the Yanks.
Interesting.
Kind of following in
Angels
his
back there cheering.
I think he's going to follow in his pop's footsteps. His dad.
I forgot his
dad
he's got
was an
lineage.
ex-Yankee. Yeah. So I think he's going to follow in his pop's footsteps.
What do you got, Green?
I think that Cody Bellinger is an interesting player from a standpoint of that when he came onto the scene, it was a big flash. I mean, won an MVP.
Yep.
And then, there's still holes that he had in his game. They were just kind of masked in that MVP season. Then afterward, it's like that sophomore slump. And then, based on the reports, just how he is outside of baseball, it didn't lead you to believe that he was going to find success. It kind of looked like maybe the outside kind of played a little bit more, off the field things, led to him not having, success on the field. So what did the Dodgers do? Didn't you guys moved on from, right? He was a free agent.
He was a free agent.
Yeah. So,
which was the right move.
Yeah, which the right move. Didn't decide to sign him. I mean, I feel like as your club, you look at, and this is somewhere where I feel like with the Cubs, I read a book onto them about, when they took Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta was a bum with the Orioles, but Epstein has this whole thing with the scouting department and goes, give me a list of 10 guys who you think if they were to change destination, right, come into our culture, that they would be a different player. And Jake Arrieta was at the top of everyone's list. What does Jake Arrieta do? He ends up having a Cy Young, season there, was a big time pitcher for his time in Chicago. So I wonder if that's what they did with Bellinger, and they really believe that, hey, this guy can be that dude for us if he's into our culture. Does he stay there? And do they believe in him? Or are they looking at, well, now he's a free agent, so he can go anywhere he wants to.
Right.
But that to me is where it's like, I wonder if they still have that belief. To me, if it got into my head, I would sit there and say, pass.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they'd be foolish to let him go right now after this season. He's still young enough. Nate, what do you think? Where does Belly land up?
I liked actually your take, Will. He found comfort in Chicago. Maybe him getting away from LA and took him away from the spotlight.
Right.
He was able to find himself. He was able to find himself as a player. He was able to find his groove, change of scenery, different guys, probably from different areas, acted totally different because people from LA and Chicago aren't the same.
It's amazing how quickly he turned it around.
And
like just 1 year, he went from complete trash to a really 210 to 307. Almost 100-point jump. That's crazy. So the Cubs got something special going on. Obviously, Chicago's an amazing city, great place to live, great baseball town. Wrigley Field's, historic, legendary.
I'll say it's hard to play there too. You talk about when it starts getting like in the beginning of the season, and the end of like for him.
Summertime shy is
summertime's good, but living there and going to those games at different points of the year, like it is brutal.
Yeah,
the weather there, not being domed.
I wouldn't even want to hit a ball with that freaking weather.
So for him to have the season he did, I think is terrific. I think along the lines where you and Nate said. Obviously, someone clicked there.
Yeah.
Whether it was culturally, whether it was just being away from the spotlight. So I think that he should remain somewhere where, if he goes to the Yankees, I think it'd be LA all over again for him.
And it doesn't help when you're slumping on the Dodgers because
the spotlight.
Hey, fool! You gotta get a hit on your next at bat. You're hearing it from left field. Like it's hard to play with that.
Yeah,
it's hard.
and you're right, and that's a great point.
Dodgers didn't love him.
Of what you guys just said, Dodgers, Yankees. You're going to get that. So I think he'd be smart to stay in Chicago. Let's move on. Another really interesting prospect. The bat has really not been there for this guy, at least last year, but an absolutely phenomenal defensive player, good base runner, very selective at the plate, gets quality at bats. Matt Chapman, third baseman for the Blue Jays. His top.
Did he win Gold Glove, though?
He did win the Gold Glove. He's won a couple, I believe. He's a phenomenal third baseman. I think a very interesting spot for him to land would be the D-backs, whose third base ranked 27th last year out of 30 teams. If you're the D-backs, you make an aggressive move right here to go after Matt Chapman.
Especially after the year that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They were just in the World Series. You had a piece like that, and maybe maybe him changing places, the bat comes alive. Who knows? So where do you guys see Matt Chapman ending up?
I can see the D-backs. In the postseason, they were pretty much switching Longoria, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but they were switching him every other game. Like at that point in a season, you need to have an everyday guy. You need to have a guy there who's going to play third base every day and know his role and have his spot in the lineup so he can produce without having to worry about, I'm not going to play tomorrow. Is Longoria going to play over me? Or is this,
Yeah.
They need it. At that point in the season, you have to have an everyday guy. And he could probably fit the role and help the D-backs because...
And he's not just an
Longoria's free
everyday
agency.
guy. You're plugging in a Gold Glover right there. So that'd be huge. So some of the top suitors for him are Yankees. Blue Jays would like to keep him. Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs. Dodgers are in somehow every single list of every free agent with that blank checkbook. Greener, where do you see Chapman ended up?
I didn't even think about the Diamondbacks till you said it, but to me that would be an interesting move.
Giants are also a suitor.
Yeah, Giants would also be interesting. I think the reason why with the D-backs with Evan Gloria, you have a veteran presence. Guy's been to the postseason. Guy's able to take a younger team and kind of be that veteran for him. It's obviously that he's been in decline. He's not close to being the same player that he was. Having a guy like Chapman that can also kind of offer that. He's been around the league.
A veteran.
He's getting closer to that veteran status. Has the Gold Glove, can flash the leather. Stick maybe comes back around. That'd be an interesting one. I could also see him going to the Yankees.
Yep.
He's a big name. The Yankees, they would
drop a bag.
They'll drop a bag for the name.
Who's even playing third for the Yankees? Do we know?
It was Josh Donaldson before, but they released him. I don't even know who they have now. But they're all tied up with bad contracts.
Mason, what do you got on Matt Chapman? And let's try to start keeping these quick because we still got a lot of free agents to get through.
I think Chapman needs to be on a smaller market team. You look at the Blue Jays lineup, he was in charge of protecting Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Right.
You know, that's a tough spot to be in. You're going to get pitched a hell of a lot tougher.
True.
You know, being in that position than he was in Oakland. Oakland, he was the guy, and he had to, you know, he had guys around him that could protect him during his early years.
Really good point. Yeah.
But you know, I think for Chapman, he's got to go to a lineup that someone is going to protect him. You know, he went from, you know, being a high, you know, 200 batting average guy in Oakland, and you know, this past year, you know, has an off year offensively.
240, 17 jacks.
Yeah, just a poor offensive year. And again, I think it has a lot to do with where he was at in that lineup. You know, you flip him, you get you know, Vlad behind him as opposed to in front of him.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Matt Chapman has a totally different season.
I agree. That's a really great point. I could see him having a belly like transition.
Bounce back.
Yeah, bounce back. So let's move on. Like I said, let's keep these quick because we still got a good amount to get through and we're running short on time.
How many are you going to try to get through?
Maybe
many
4
more
or
you got,
5.
Will?
4 or 5. Josh Hader, 33 saves, 1.28 ERA. 85 Ks, 30 walks, 56 innings. We all know what Hader brings. He's an absolute elite closer. Nasty stuff from the left side, 3/4 slot. It looks like his top suitors are the Cubs, the Dodgers, Orioles, Phillies, Rangers, and possibly the Yankees. So all the big banks.
The Dodgers are always in the mix of everything.
It's
you're
ridiculous.
Again,
I know.
let's just
I know.
assemble
We're just not
Avengers.
even going to
It's
say
just they have the
Dodgers
money,
anymore. Yeah, I'm not even going to keep them on the list. So Josh Hader. If I had to pick, I like him going to the Orioles.
Yeah,
I like him going to the
I
Orioles.
would say the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think regardless of where that guy goes, he's a weapon.
Yeah.
You know,
He's an asset.
You know, he comes into the game, you know, at least how the Brewers were using him in shutdown roles. It didn't matter if it was the 9th or the 7th or even the 6th inning. You need that shutdown to kind of change the momentum of a game. That was Hader's role with the Brewers, you know, and I don't think that the Padres really used him in that manner. And, you know, maybe he has a better year than he did, although phenomenal already. 33 saves, under a 2 ERA.
1.28
Yeah, like
ERA.
absolutely retarded.
Yeah.
Like those numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a weapon to anyone.
What you got, Green?
I honestly don't have an inkling as to where he'll go. I do think that he will wait until a lot of this free agent class gets signed because I think that he's at a point in his career, like you said, like that guy is a superstar. Guy is a shutdown guy. I want to go. He spent his whole career with Milwaukee. I want to go to a team that I think is going to the dance and that I can be that shutdown guy. So I think he's going to sit there and see what moves do the Dodgers make, what moves do the Yankees, I mean, all the teams that he's associated with.
He's going to have his pick of the litter.
Yeah. To me, I don't need to go somewhere early. I want to go somewhere where like, hey, let me see where the rosters are at. Let me see what, you know, vibe, if I, you know, friends or whoever. I think he's going to go to a place where he feels I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be the guy, and this team's going to go to the dance, and I'm going to help myself and them win a ring.
And they're going to drop a bag on my head. Nate,
But
what
I
you got?
also think if you wait too long, what if he gets stuck on a non-contender?
Any team,
he's
going to have his pick.
Here we go, Dodger.
I like the waiting.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's say he doesn't sign for the next. Let's say he waits after the winter meetings. Let's say it's like a month after pitchers report. You're going to tell me that the Dodgers, even if they get Shohei, they get Trout, they get all
They're
these
not going
guys,
to want him.
You're not going to take him? You're not going to take Josh Hader?
I mean, of course I want Josh Hader, but I think if Hader waits too long, he might not have his pick of the litter.
We will see. That'll be interesting to see down the road. So let's move on. Wait, did you say what you got about Hader? What you got?
I don't really know where he'll go, but I think he should wait. I think he should wait until he finds, like Nick said,
I think,
the biggest thing for him is where is he going to be the guy?
Yeah, and I think
Where can he be the guy
Josh Hader,
on a contending team?
right? And he's a level of dude that I believe is going to have his pick of the litter basically no matter what time it is. There's going to be at least a few contenders that are willing to drop a bag on him. Dylan Cease, not even sure if he's a free agent, but it looks like they're looking to move him. This is a guy I would honestly like to see the Braves go after because I think you could get him for a discount. We could use another starting arm. Some of his top suitors are some team from LA. I don't know. They're just, Red Sox, Reds, Orioles, Mets, Rangers, Cubs. So a lot of the top teams.
Don't go to the Reds.
Yeah, I don't see him going to the Reds. That'd be kind of weird. Orioles would be interesting.
I think the Orioles would give
Rangers,
up too
Cubs.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Braves would be smart to try to swoop him up for a little discount. But what do y'all got on Cease? Let's keep it very, very quick.
I think you need young talent, young minor league talent to get a Dylan Cease.
Yep.
I think the White Sox are in a transition period. They're going to need prospects out of this deal, and I think the Dodgers have it. I think the O's have it. I don't know if the Braves do. The Braves are really talented and young, but are you really willing to give up some of that young talent to go get this, call it above average arm?
Greener, what you got? Keep it quick.
As long as he doesn't go to the Dodgers, I'm a happy camper.
I agree.
Amen.
I'm with Nick.
All right, let's move on from him. Juan Soto, superstar in the game. Average was a little lower last year, but the on base is crazy. He's become very selective. He obviously brings the superstardom, the ticket sales. Has won a World Series. He's a dude. He's an absolute dude. Big power lefty bat. It looks like Yankees, Blue Jays, Cubs, Mets, Mariners are in pursuit of him.
No Dodgers?
No Dodgers.
Wow.
Shockingly. I think he ends up on the Yankees for sure, honestly. I don't know. That's my guess. I'm thinking he's going Yankees. What do we got?
Did you say Mariners?
Mariners.
I got Mariners.
Are in there. They're in contention.
I don't care where he lands, but I really think his quote unquote stardom got sucked down with playing with or alongside Fernando Tatis Jr. with a Manny Machado.
Yeah.
I think
It was too much star power.
Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Right.
Hater.
I think his stardom just got absolutely sucked down, and unfortunately, because he didn't have a great year this year. Again, a high on base percentage guy. Really, really great eye. But he didn't have the kind of year that he was having with the Nats, and I think that's going to hurt him.
Him and Judge and the Yankees outfield.
That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be lethal. What do you got, Green? Keep it quick.
I think that when we've seen these teams try to create mega teams out of it, it really hasn't gone out and worked out for most clubs. Team chemistry is a big thing. Obviously, him and Soto and Tatis, I've heard are buddies. He's excited about making that move. I think like what May said, just too much. All those guys, it's a lot of egos to maintain. It might just not have been a good team chemistry.
I even forgot Bogarts too at shortstop.
Exactly. So
Yu Darvish is on that team as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of star power.
Gary Sanchez, if you want to put him in there too.
They way underperformed.
Yeah, I think him going to the Yankees would be pretty interesting. I think culturally, I think that would be a pretty good landing spot for him. I think also for him going to a big market and being that guy again and having that kind of soul. I don't want to say the soul spotlight because of Judge,
Right.
but
They'd be the two-headed monster though, for sure.
That would be really, really cool to watch. I really, I think Yankees to me would make the most sense.
Nate, what do you got? Mariners. All right. So I'm just going to run through a couple really quick. You still got Giolito and Jack Flaherty.
Both LA boys. High school teammates, which, good Lord. Imagine facing that staff. So, it'll be interesting to see where they end up. You got Jordan Montgomery, the lefty stud from the Rangers, 3.2 ERA, 1.19 whip. Really made his name out in the playoffs this year.
Was phenomenal in the playoffs and the World Series. It'll be interesting to see where he lands up. You got Marcus Stroman. He's an absolute dog. I love Stroman. It'll be cool to see. Wow. How dare you?
I kind of agree with Nick here. I think he's kind of trash.
No, see?
I thought he's pretty good.
He's a bum now.
Yeah, I guess 1.26 whip really sucks. But anyway, we'll move on.
What was his ERA?
3.
Okay.
Pitches with big
0.9.
balls.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was a little high. But he's also had some phenomenal games. I mean, I think he's definitely a very solid pitcher. I'm not going to say he's a Cy Young or anything like that, but
he had in his earlier years he was a guy, but he's fizzled out. He can still show it at games or points. I mean, I feel like that's anybody that's still playing the game and has that talent.
Yeah.
But he's not going out there and being that guy.
Yeah.
Every time, like Tim Lincecum to me, like kind of same stature, Tim Lincecum had himself like a good period of time there where, I mean, like he
was the dude.
Dominant.
Yeah, he was the freak.
Freaking dude.
He was the freak.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on. Couple more things. Couple other big moves that were made in the managerial space was Craig Counsell to the Cubs, Washington to the Angels. I think those are both great additions for those organizations. The one I really was not a fan of is the Mets letting go of Buck Showalter. He's a proven vet, everyone loves him. The team loved him. I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. Not a huge fan of that. If you guys have anything you want to comment on that, hold on 1 second and then you can do it. But let's go to the Trevor Bauer situation.
Oh.
This one is very intriguing to me. A guy who was, put in a very unfortunate situation with what happened and really was basically assumed guilty before innocent. And with a allegation like that, you kind of have to look that way. Trevor Bauer also did himself no favors with the way he's acted his entire time in the major leagues. He's a phenomenal pitcher, Cy Young winner, but he's been a freaking nightmare and a headache as a teammate, as a player. If you're a coach, if you're a manager, he's just so extra and he does so much dumb shit that I think did not do him any favors. But now he goes to Japan, has a really great year, actually. 2.5 ERA. Apparently the fastball ticked all the way up to 99, which I found kind of surprising because he was coming off an injury. He's someone you're going to be able to get a discount on, and it will be and also the texts now have been leaked that girl was basically a complete psycho trying to set him up, lying. And so he's going to be coming back. What do we think about that whole situation and where he's going to land?
I think Japanese baseball is a lot different than Major League Baseball, where, they get more time off in between starts. And I think that really helped Trevor Bauer this particular season of his uptick in velocity.
Yeah.
Whereas, you look at the Japanese stars, the Japanese star pitchers that are coming over, and a majority of them, especially the starters, are getting hurt because it's once every 5 days instead of maybe once every week, and I think that plays a big factor in, the recovery time of pitchers.
Very interesting point there. Greener, where do you think he ends up? Who should go drop a little bag on Mr. Trevor Bauer, take a chance?
I wouldn't touch him.
Wouldn't touch him.
PR nightmare.
To me, and this is a
he also has a YouTube now, so he's vlogging everything.
Yeah,
like
everything he does. Walks into the clubhouse, walks out of the clubhouse.
You got to deal with all that.
But that's Micah Parsons, like for the Cowboys. I mean, you have a lot of these guys now that are doing like shows and
podcasts, just like we are.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, there comes a point where your talent will allow you to get away with things because people look at your talent and go, we can deal with the after stuff.
Yeah.
We can deal with the off the field stuff. But then there comes a point where we can't deal with the off the field antics.
If your talent drops at all.
Yeah, if your talent drops or if it just becomes the off the field, it's too much. And we've seen that with various athletes, guys that are at the top. I mean, I just think that it's not worth having somebody into my clubhouse that could be toxic, that you could put yourself in a bad situation, and now you're being talked about again in the media. Us already signing you is going to bring on a lot of heat. Like, to me, it's not that I'm not a fan of second chances. Definitely am. I think that you go through things in life and you can make mistakes, and how you learn from them. I just don't know that his type of personality and how he carries himself, that, like you said, it doesn't lend him to anybody really liking him, outside of what he can do possibly on the baseball field.
Yeah.
So to me, I wouldn't touch him wherever he lands. It'll be interesting. I'd be surprised if it's any big market team. I just think that there's plenty enough other pitchers out there.
Maybe he goes back to the Reds.
That's a possibility. I mean, I don't know how many Reds fans. I mean, maybe you take what you can get.
The thing about Trevor, though, he is a phenomenal talent. Like, this guy, yes, he's a headache and a nightmare, but the talent is there. And now that he's coming from Japan and's got a little of that baggage, someone's going to get a nice discount on an A+ arm. Nate, what do you think about this?
The Miami Marlins.
Ooh, very interesting.
I think
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
What happened with him was
not mad at that.
what was unfortunate, right? The whole situation was unfortunate, and he's over here vlogging. He's with guys like Eric Sim and all this stuff and doing all these videos.
King of Juco.
And I think that maybe that helps the Miami Marlins. Maybe that gives them a little bit of spotlight, They have another young superstar, Jazz Chisholm. Those guys together maybe can put up a possibly good year.
That's a good point,
We'll
Nate.
see.
That is actually a really good point, because if you look at the social media and the value that he brings and having a giant following, small market team might actually be attracted to that. So that is very interesting. Does anybody have anything else they want to end with? We're all good. Green? Just keep it short though. We're at 30 minutes right now.
Never mind.
Okay. There you have it, folks. Thank you for watching Sandlot and the Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Go back, watch the previous videos. We're going to have a lot more coming for you guys. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned.